Hi, my name is Steve Corona, and I'm your host for this virtual internship. Today we're speaking with Larry Campbell. He is the Director of Fleet Operations for the City of Fort Wayne, and we're going to talk about one specific job in his big garage here, and that is a mechanic. So, Larry, tell me a little bit about the hiring and selection process for that position.
As an entry-level tech, you can't look for experience as they come in, but we try to, when we sit down with an interview and see what they've worked on, have they worked on anything in the past, or what are your hobbies? I mean, a lot of these entry levels have did things on the side, worked on their own vehicles, right. Or worked for a small construction company or onto that side of it, and so that gives us an idea of what they like that they have the mechanical skills.
Yeah. So you're looking for somebody who has that experience in using their hands.
That's correct.
Yeah. So what level of education and experience are you looking for? Anything that you want at least as a minimum, as a base?
As the base side of it, we look at, you have to have a high school diploma. But then we also look at and see if they've gone to a technical school with like Anthony's Career Center or that. And so did they work there? What was their grades are in through that, okay? And did they enjoy it? Did they come through that side of it for being able to work on a car? Or was they on the heavy side of it, of working on a truck or something in the construction field? And I know that with some of the other programs that there is some construction equipment that they possibly work on there for them, or the lawnmowers there at the school systems and stuff.
So what could an entry-level day one mechanic make here in your garage?
The entry level starts around the $18 range, okay? And
after 5 years?
After 5 years, you could be up into the $20 range, $22 range. That's our mid-tech range. And then within 10 years or all that, you could be all the way up to $26, $28 range into it. That's the top of our scale onto it. But the other thing that we have to offer, and it's for everyone on the entry side of it, is we add, for every ASE you get, then it's 10 cents on the hour. So, and then every EBT that you receive, then you get another 25 cents on the hour.
Go back and tell me what those initials stand for someone who is not familiar with your world.
With the ASC, it's the Automotive Standards. No, I can't even think of what the last one of was. Automotive Standards, okay? And then it's emergency vehicle.
Okay. But these are the industry certifications.
Industry certifications.
Okay.
And then there's also, at my level, okay, there is the NAPA organization that has it, and then also the American Public Works has a certification program for people in my positions to perform or pass those tests or that, and to make you qualified to show that you are certified to lead a fleet or a city of this size fleet.
So tell me what an entry-level mechanic's responsibilities and duties are.
As an entry level, a lot of those is going to be servicing of vehicles, okay, of cars or pickups or vans, and you're going to have from anywhere from an 80-point inspection on a vehicle to a 120-point inspection vehicle on the heavy side. And within the city, we're kind of split up. We got a heavy side and a light side, but there's times that we have techs that will cross over or need to cross over to help get the work out the door.
So what's a typical workday, work week like here?
We start at 6:30. We run 2 shifts, and at 6:30, and we have a shift meeting at every shift, and we go over with the service writer passes out the work and what we're going to work on, and we might talk about some issues that we're seeing with a particular vehicle, or problems that are coming up, or parts issues, or topics that we talk about in the morning and what we can do and to improve, okay?
So for a person who is interested in working for you, what would you consider to be the most important aspect?
You know, they wanted to make this a career, okay, or they just wanted to come and get a paycheck. And a career person is going to give it 100%. They're going to, if there's something that they need to learn, they're going to go to try to learn that part of it, or go ask for help. You know, we got some young techs out here right now that are the future. I see the future of this fleet. Okay, and you know, some are more advanced than others, but you know, the other ones are coming along and into that side of it.
So what does success look like here?
Good question. I can say we've had some great success here. You know, there's a competition out there that we've been in before, okay, and several times that that when you apply, you're seeing what you're applying for. How do you rate within the rest of the country, between the United States and Canada? And it's called, there's the 100 best fleets and the leading fleets. And the leading fleets is a little bit tougher, and it's always the top 50 fleets in the country. And Fort Wayne's been fortunate enough to be all the way up to number 1, number 2, and then the elite fleets and the 100 best. And
so I've just hired on as a mechanic. I really enjoy the work. I like the atmosphere. I like my coworkers, but I'm struggling. So can you provide me some additional help to make sure that I'm going to meet your expectations?
Well, you know, when we do that, okay, we'll put into a we'll put you with a tech, with another tech, to help you through that problem. What are you struggling with? Okay, and our fleet, our shop foreman, okay, he can look at that, okay, and we know that that's your weakness, okay. Mm-hmm. We're going to put you with that person. Yeah. And help you to get through work on where your weakness is. Yeah. And you know, not everybody's a good diag person, okay? And what I mean by diag is hooking the laptop computer up to it and reading, okay, and pulling all that side out of it. And as some of our techs have got older, have really not wanted to learn that side of it. But if you give them a construction piece of equipment or anything like that, you know, they call them the sweeper king or whatever. Everybody goes to that technician for if there's problems. So,
I want to ask you the biggest challenges to this position, and you referenced earlier the fact that your fleet consists of a lot of different model cars. You have Chevys, you have Fords, and other brands. Would you consider that one of the biggest challenges of the position, or are there other challenges?
Well, not on certain things, because you become, you know, okay, we know this is what it's going to need for this. We know that we can see a failure. It's continuous, okay? Yeah. I'll pick on a police car. We know that in the summer we're going to go through cooling fans and radiators and this, because it's a weakness of that vehicle. Mm-hmm. And so you learn the weaknesses of the vehicles and what you need to do, and maybe we can correct it with a new part that's come out, okay, because OEMs saying, well, we went too cheap on that. But back to your question, on the light duty side, it's the vehicle side of it, okay? On the heavy side of it, the equipment, that's where we get into more diversity. I mean, a lot of diversity, from your backhoe to a street sweeper to an asphalt paver or an asphalt roller or a chip spreader, excavator. So all of that, that's where you become the diversity into it.
So are there opportunities for advancement in the garage?
Yes, there is. Especially if you start out as an entry-level tech and you move up to mid-tech, mm-hmm. and then master tech, and then hope at some point you can move into as a service writer, and or move into as a shop supervisor. Our shop supervisor started out on the floor currently, so And every one of our service writers was a technician at some point. So, and moved into the service writing position. And so
Is there a typical career path for people in your department? Do many of them stay as a mechanic?
Yeah, there's a lot of them that have stayed as a mechanic. We had one that just retired that was 72 years old, and he mechanicked all of his life.
Must have loved it.
He loved it, okay? He started out in his dad's garage. You know, he preferred being a technician, and he was good at it, and he was a good trainer.
Wow. So, are there professional organizations or additional training degrees that would help a person if they're thinking of advancement?
The thing of it is a lot of them has gone on to Ivy Tech for a 2-year degree or 2-year advancement, or Lincoln Tech out of Indianapolis, or even Northwestern in Ohio. Okay, they have a great program over there also. And we've had some that has come from the Northwestern. One gentleman that we've hired within this year came from Northwestern. Okay, but a lot of it is good. Is one thing to, as a lot of us say, is getting from the book work out to you being able to use your hands.
Right.
Okay, and being knowledgeable enough, if you tear it apart, to put it back together.
So we're going to be showing these videos to students at the middle school and the high school. What advice would you have of them if they're thinking about a career as a mechanic and working in a garage, fixing trucks and cars?
A lot of those onto the mechanic side of it was great with Legos. And working with Legos as they came up, and the mechanical side of Legos into it. And they still talk about, some of them are still getting into the Lego side of it. It's surprising how many mechanics talk about playing with the Legos as a kid and growing into the Lego set of it and the mechanical side of it, okay? So it's a great career path if you love working with your hands, or you love tearing things apart and you love a challenge, okay? If you see it, how do you put that back together, okay? And you're still going to have computer work, okay, in today's society. That we cannot function without computers inside this, okay? So it's just not always about using a wrench on something, okay, or a screwdriver. The diagnostic work is, so much of it is still learned. You still plug it into the computer, but you still have to have your basics. Still takes gas and spark and compression to make that motor run, okay? So the fundamentals of that motor is still the same, unless you're moving into a diesel side of it, but the fundamentals of them is still the same. And so if you can get those fundamentals, you have to have the computer knowledge to be able to read that program and to plug that into it. And we're fortunate enough that we work with the manufacturers. I mean, with Motorcraft or Ford Motor Company, or with GM and AC Delco, that the technicians do so many hours of training each year on those programs, okay, that they can log onto the web and look at those programs, and there's modules in there that helps them through certain parts of it.
Final thoughts. What other thoughts are running through your mind about your job and providing advice to young people about a career in this field?
You know, it's been as I'm approaching the end of my career, okay, or possibly approaching the end of my career in 4 years or 5 years, whatever. It's been a great career, okay? I started out as wrenching on cars and construction equipment, and moved my way up into the management side of it, and moved up and became certified as a manager in American Public Works, so there's great ways to move up in through it, and the city has been a great place to work for that, and I can see others that I hope at someday can be step into them career paths, okay?